Next question comes from Beijing, China.
Hello, this is Ira calling from Beijing, China. I have a question regarding the urbanization and future cities. In China, nowadays we have some situation like each year the increase in the urban population will be equivalent of more than 13 million. More and more people in rural area move to cities, which make the urban policymakers have to focus on some social protection for migrants. So I have a question for Mr. Mayor that does Brazil have some similar phenomenon, and how Brazil settle the migrants in cities?
I think this question is more specific to China, which has this big problem with rural migration, but maybe you could connect this to the issue of favelas and favela dwellers and people living in slums, how to integrate them.
I mean, again, this is something I don't think that happens anymore in Brazil. It used to be like that. I mean, especially when you look at Rio and São Paulo. But now the power of cities are more spread all over the country, which is good, which is not bad. I mean, when you look at social protection, Brazil has great examples. I mean, tomorrow I think Bolsa Família is having its 10th anniversary. We have a program in Rio that's connected to Bolsa Família, where you get the poorest ones and you make put some money with Bolsa Família, and these people get out of what we call high poverty. So the poorest of the poor, then you take care. So we got some great examples in Brazil about social protection. When you come to the point of the favelas, again, I mean, favelas are a reality of Rio. So when we stop seeing them as a problem, I'm not being populist or hypocrite here. Obviously, there are some areas that where landslides can happen, and then you cannot just let people there because it's beautiful. I mean, this is a problem. People are going to die, and this happens almost every summer in Rio. But when you look at most of the favelas, what you see, they can be a solution for some of these problems. And again, these people that came to the big city in the past, I mean, they were the urbanists of these days. You know, again, I said that when I spoke. Most of the solutions that the architects they show us today, the urban affairs people, they come showing us, okay, get high density, go back to downtowns, don't let people use lots of transportation, let them close to where they work. I mean, these are the favelas. So that has the favelas. They have a lot to do with the migrants that came to big cities as Rio and São Paulo, and that's probably all over the world the same thing. And so they can be a social protection if you take good care of them and you make the right intervention.
But I agree, because the favela is informal settlement. The majority of the world's cities is so-called informal. So the majority of the world is like favela. It's not like you have a city here and then you have favela. Actually, we now live in a world which is favela plus city, but actually favela is better designed, more urban, more formal than the so-called formal city. You could say the so-called formal city has been designed by the economy, which is not always the same, but small, dense, informal settlements are highly organized. So I agree that there's much more, the negotiation between formal and informal should be enormously productive. Not by accident, informal is primarily migrant. It's driven by migrants. Now, cities are driven by migration. So by definition, favela is the beginning of the answer, not the, it's the beginning of solution, not the beginning of the problem.